It's such an honor to welcome Dick Butkus to our channel. Dick, I was a little kid watching you play, got to know you a little bit in Chicago, and then listened to you for so many years on WGN radio. And I've interviewed you before, but I've always wanted to ask you, so what is it like? There's very few athletes that when you think of a position, one name pops out. There's been a lot of great running backs and a lot of great quarterbacks and a lot of great pitchers. When you think middle linebacker, the first thing anyone thinks of is you. What is that like?
Well, I'm not so sure they're doing that anymore. It's been 49 years since I played. So there's been other guys that have come along through the grapevine, but I guess it's an honor, and I never set out to do that. I always just loved the game and tried to play it the best I could, and all the accolades and things that come on after are, I guess, byproducts of it. So I guess I should feel pretty proud of myself, but to myself, I did what I always wanted to do and accomplish what I always wanted to do. So I took care of me first.
So growing up in Chicago and then Illinois and then getting to the Bears, did any part of you ever wish, man, I wish I'd have gone to college away from home, or I wish another team had drafted me, or you were cool with Illinois all the way?
Yeah, I was, because my brother was there for a whistle stop, and we used to go down there. So I was just thinking, that they had a very poor record at Illinois when we went there, and got a bunch of guys from Chicago. We turned it around in 3 years. We're in the Rose Bowl. But the main thing was that my family could see every game that I played at the University of Illinois, and I also saw probably all of them that I played with in Chicago with the Bears, even though the Bear thing was kind of a little trickery by the old man to get me to go there. But anyway, because that was during the war, the second year of the war. So they were doing their little deals to get their certain people that they wanted. So I got there by way of Alice getting to my lawyer, and that was the end of that.
So the whole draft process is totally different today. What was it like when you were getting drafted? Did they interview you in physicals and workouts, or no, we saw him in Illinois, we'll take him?
No, none of that. The only thing they would do is that every team had like a business relationship with somebody, and my guy was Vern Buell, who was a real good friend of George Allen's. And Vern was the president of High Grade Foods there down there. So he's the one that all of a sudden he turns up at one of the All-American games in New York. And so we, as players, caught on real fast, because with Craig Morton, they had a guy from Dallas, and he was just throwing money around. So we'll go with you, And Vern didn't have to pull out anything. Right. Yet Vern became a very, very good friend of our family and his family. So, yeah, they had what we call babysitters. Never had to do anything on the field as far as getting timed or any of that. So, yes, it has changed considerably.
Considerably. So when you see the struggles the Bears are having, I'm a diehard Bear fan. We had season tickets in my family for a while. Does it bother you, or do you distance yourself from it? Because it's been so awful for a while.
Are you kidding me? I mean, I watch them out here, I get all their games and everything else, but the last couple of years, I mean, I was almost finding myself, I was getting to where I was texting people at the Bears office and everything else. They were just atrocious. And, I, as an ex-player, I feel that way, but Jesus, some of these fans are crazy about the Bears. And I can only surmise what they had to go through those last 2 years, because that, you just think back of the tradition. The guy started the damn league, and here we're like doormats and people making fun of the Bears. And And Rodgers comments all the time that they own the Bears. Well, I guess they do because we're so bad. I wouldn't think that was a big accomplishment because we were bad. And from what I see and what is, I just see in the newspaper, I'm not that close to, and that's going on in Chicago. I think these new people are doing a good job by cleaning house. You know what I mean? Let's just don't recirculate everybody and for whatever reason. That's one of the other things I kind of laugh about. These guys get fired and then they end up somewhere else. Well,
Right.
If they were so bad, why are they going somewhere else? And get hired. I really don't understand that. I understand, okay, it's a close-knit group and pro's a pro and, college guys, they don't get much, they don't have very much success, but come on. One job, and it's just, that's the way it is today,
How much do you watch the game? Is it, I'm going to watch every Sunday, or you don't pay that strict attention, but you know what's going on?
I used to watch everything, but now I just watch the Bears and maybe, the Monday night game or something like that. I do follow the Bears and see all their games. I get kind of upset watching a lot of the other games, with the antics that are going on. And what the players are allowed to do now. And I don't know. I don't really like where the game has gone. So
Tell me why.
well, because of the way people are getting to act.
Right.
I mean, and the money is like monopoly money. I mean, now it's all like, it's not how good of a player. He just signed him with $3 million, $30 million a year. He gets $30 million. Oh, but if he doesn't play the 3 years, then only plays 2 years, he'll get $67 million.
Right.
And I think what I'm talking about. Come on. Yet people go there, and it's number one sport. So I guess you can't complain. I mean, people accept the way it is. It doesn't mean I have to.
Correct. So watching what you saw, Mitchell Trubisky, now it's Justin Fields. Do you feel like they mismanaged Trubisky, or no, he just wasn't very good? And do you have confidence in Justin Fields?
I have confidence in Justin Fields, and I don't think Trubisky was that bad of a quarterback. When I found out through an opposing team like last year, he told me, something? Justin never learned one iota about the game of quarterback with the Bears from the very first day of training camp to the last day of the season. They didn't have anybody teaching them. And I had somebody, tell me that's in the league. I noticed a lot of games, you watch Rodgers or the Packers, as soon as he comes off the field, they got the iPad there for him. The coach is telling him this and that. He's got their phones on. You look at Justin Fields, the first couple of games, the first 5 or 6 games, nobody sits by him. He takes his hat on, takes his helmet off, puts his hat on like you're supposed to, get the logo going, and nobody comes up to help him. And it only was the last game or 2 games that I noticed someone sits down there next to him and shows him something. But the kid, he didn't have any help. So hopefully they're doing a good job of coaching him up, because they just lost a year, or the kid did, I think.
So would you consider this pretty much his rookie year, right?
Yes, because no one taught him anything last year, and they put him out to the wolves. That offensive line, they ought to be arrested for attempted murder. Come on.
So when he shows up in camp and Matt Nagy, the ex-coach, says, yeah, no, he's not competing for the job, I was always taught the best guy gets the job. If I show up in camp and it's me and Dick Butkus, if he beats me out, he gets the job. If I beat him out, I get it. That wasn't the way it was. What'd you?
I don't have too many bones to pick with Nagy, but I'll just say one thing. You don't hire a guy, or just because the guy coached under a guy like Andy Reid doesn't make him going to be the next Vince Lombardi. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They were dead wrong with him and his assistants. Nice guy. I had no beef with that. They just didn't coach anybody.
Do you like that they have basically said we're taking it down to the ground and we're going to
Yes.
build it back up?
Yes, absolutely. Because they, they're not really losing much,
Right.
because they don't have anything to start with. So I'm all for it. Changing it around, whatever, a year, 2 years. Sure, the older guys would love to win now, but gear for the future and go after it. Don't be stuttering like they have for the last 3 years, just only going downhill. What's with our scouting department? How come these guys like Belichick get these guys in the 20th round, for Christ's sake, or free agents, and they end up starting, and we get high draft choices and they can't get out of their way. It baffles me, and it starts from up there, up the top.
When you say up at the top, is that George? Is that Ted? Is that the GM? Who does it start with?
Well, George is a good friend of mine. I wouldn't say it's George. But he's got some other people around there that I question.
I'll leave it at that.
Leave it at that.
Let me ask you why you walked away from radio, because for me, you in the radio booth was the greatest listen of all time. And the next thing I know, you're not there anymore. Why did you do that?
Well, the traveling just got to me. I was doing a series at the time, so I would get off of work Friday, which was a late night, run over and watch Matt, his games. After that, take the red eye to New York, stay there for not even 24 hours, do the show. And the days that I didn't work on the series, I had to do pieces and go places. And it's, I don't know, it was fun while it lasted, but then I think the traveling just got to me. And there were so many ego business people in that business. It just wasn't for me.
You know how popular that broadcast was, don't you?
Oh yeah. And like I said, I guess I broke every rule, Marty Glickman's school of broadcasting rule there was. I'd step on Hub and
Larrabee.
And Fence. I used to step on everybody and yell out. But that was me. I wasn't putting on any airs. I get questioned about my English and how dare you. I mean, where are these English teachers now with some of these guys that are doing announcing?
No question.
I mean, geez. But it was fun. I really enjoyed it. But what was it there? And the other reason was that the NFL Today called. Brent Musburger called me, and that was right when they got rid of the gambler.
Jimmy the Greek.
Yeah, and then so I did that, and then that's when I really got the Eagles. Start doing TV.
Crazy, right?
It really is. I mean, for no reason at all that you have to act that way. Or see, you stay the same. With all your success, I can honestly say that you stayed the same. I can't say that for a lot of these people in your business.
That's very kind of you. I was raised by my late father, and if I ever changed, I would have got bam.
Well, don't say bam nowadays.
Right.
Got to cajole and
Yeah, you got to be very calm and.
That's right. Yes.
What were you like as a high school player? Did you know then I'm going to make money at this game? The money really wasn't big in the game.
No, there was no thought of that. I don't think until I was maybe a senior and had to get what they call when Coach Taylor told me I got to get maybe an agent. Then that's first indication. I just played the game because I really loved it. And in high school, it was a no-brainer. I just loved playing, and I got to do everything. I was playing fullback. Our fullback at spring practice, our very first spring practice, our Lamus Rush was our fullback, and he joined the Navy or something, went in the service. And so then we're looking for a fullback, and Bernie O'Brien came, well, we got to find a, I said, I'll try, let me try it. And so then that's how I was able to be a fullback and a linebacker. So I got the kick the field goals, kick off.
Mm-hmm.
I like that kickoff because I can get down there right away and level the guy.
So I was watching you 2 nights ago. I'm going through on my iPad. I find a highlight of you catching a muffed extra point.
Right.
And turning and handing the ball. I think it was a Washington player, and he swatted it away. He was so pissed.
Well, okay. The story was there's 2 parts of that. The first part was it was against George Allen and the Redskins. We're playing them in Wrigley, right? And we tied the score, whatever, and then snap goes over Bobby Douglas's head, and he throws. Well, before that, I got like kicked or something in the eye. It got through my bird cage, and my eye started swelling up, so that and I was really looking out of one eye, and your depth perception is screwed up. So here I am with the one eye, and I'm lined up as the left up back, and here I hear the crowd go, ooh, and I'm looking, what the hell happened? I turn around, I see Bobby Douglas running, picks up the ball, and I just went out there, and I start waving, and he threw it to me. And I jumped because of my depth perception was screwed up. I could have just stood there and caught it like this, but I jumped and catch and everybody in the meeting says, "What are you jumping for, you hot dog," and everything else. And I didn't tell anybody. I only had one eye, man. And the Eagle game is when I caught the extra point in Philadelphia and held it out. And who was their safety with the Eagles? Tough kid from Texas. Anyway, I met him at the Pro Bowl. Got along with him. He was a cool guy, And so then when I caught that, I just said, "Here you go, Scotty," or is it Bill Scott? Or I just went, "Hey, Bill, here you go." And then God damn it, he was just jagging with me. So yeah, 2 different games.
How much fun did you have in game? Were you a trash talker? Because I used to scout the NBA, and Michael Jordan was as big a trash talker as there ever was. Were you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I used to, against the Vikings, who's their quarterback at that time?
Tarkenton?
No, the other tough guy from Cal. What the hell was his name? Anyway, when he was kneeling down calling the play in the huddle, I noticed if I got out of our huddle early enough, I could look into his huddle and I could hear him call a play, and then he'd yell like they all do, like "on 2," real loud so everybody knows it. So they would come up to the line and I'd say, "Hey, Mick," I'd see Tinglehoff all the time at the pro. "Hey, Mick, don't forget, it's on 2." And he'd kind of look up at his stance and "How'd you know?" And I used to do that all the time with him. The Vikings.
And they never
forget, everybody, it's on 2,
and they never figured it out.
Yeah, no, never did. That's a high school trick. Listening into the huddle,
Pretty good.
Yeah.
In terms of being a Bear, playing with Ditka and some of the other guys, what was that like? Because the video I was watching the other night, they said, win or lose, I think it was Davey Witzel maybe said, win or lose, you knew you were going to get a physical beating because that is what we did.
Right.
Is that what it was like?
Yeah, it was, I'll never forget, Bill George and them were going to play the 49ers my rookie year out in San Francisco. And at the time, San Francisco had a tight end, one of the dirtiest players ever, and Monty Stickles.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're watching a game film of theirs. And so Bill or somebody says, "Run that back," and so they run it back and he says, "Watch this guy," and Stickles just comes out and just labels someone in the back of the head like a linebacker. And I don't know, it was Bill or Doug or somebody, Atkins or somebody, just said, "Remember that," and remember? Oh, whatever. So we do the game, and I'm watching the game film, and I never even noticed it, but Stickles was started, and then the next thing he was gone. And they how did I think Fortunato like pushed him in like a tight end. He was over the tight end, and he pushed him in, and then Bill came and just wiped him out.
Bam.
Bam, and he was all through. And I got the sense then that, this is kind of like what I enjoy doing, man. You're gonna play here, all right, we might not win, but boy, you'll know you've been in the game. We try to have that attitude at Illinois also. I mean, we were winning 10-9, 7-6, stuff like that. But I think we outconditioned everybody, at least our junior year. And we went to Rose Bowl.
The quarterback you're talking, was it Joe Cap?
Joe Cap, yeah.
That's the guy you're talking about. He was an actor. I remember him in The Longest Yard.
Yeah.
You've been an actor. What is acting like for you versus being a professional football player?
Well, it's, mostly it was through the commercials, and I've done, a couple 300 commercials, but the Miller Lite commercials were, they really showed me. Everybody thought, I was always the, press stone, the tough stuff. But the Miller Lite commercials, when they hooked me up with Bubba Smith, and we did the comical stuff, we started getting calls out here. Come on, and, we want you as a guest on all these different shows, and then we had some series pitched at us and whatever. And so I came out, and I was in Florida at the time, and I was commuting back and forth. And so when you do that, you think you're working all the time. Hey, this is the way it is, but it really isn't, man. You go months between jobs. So after a while, my wife says, hey, you know what? If you're going to do this, get the kids in school, and we'll all go out there, and we'll give it 6 months. And I said, all right, let's try it. And so that's how we did it. We came out, we rented a place, and put the kids in school. Matt was just in grammar school at the time. And one thing led to another, and it just ended up staying out here. And
so you like it out there?
Yeah, I like it. The weather is unbelievable. It's just, things that, of course, has been going on all over the last couple, 3, 4, 5 years. But yeah, I like it out here. Everybody calls, the Lululand and everything else. And I remember when, we'd come out here to play, it was a big deal. And basically, it's just like anywhere else. It's the people you hang around with. I mean, there's good people everywhere. And we've been fortunate to find some good people. And yeah, we like it here. And, I keep thinking about maybe downsizing, but it's tough. It's like, we overlooked the ocean there. And when we first came here, my wife said, what's that? Looks like an island. Yeah, that's Hawaii. And one time I told her it was Tokyo, Japan. But, that's Southsider and us. We're out here. So, but no, we did good people. So like I say, you find good people anywhere.
Is there I don't know if you watch shows on streaming now, but is there a show or two that you like now that you go, man, if I was still acting, I'd want to be on that show?
Probably Gunsmoke. I've been watching, well, we both watch Gunsmoke out here. It comes on like 4 o'clock out here. And so we catch an hour of that. And all of a sudden for the last, all through COVID, we've been watching Gunsmoke. Christ, that series, I saw like series 18, episode 32. That show went on forever and ever. I don't know if you remember, but I think it was on Sunday nights.
Yes,
in Chicago. And I know my parents loved Westerns. And so we're just wondering when Matt Dillon is going to hook up with Kitty. It's, and I would like to know or find out how Chester got that stiff leg. We've watched so many episodes. Like I said, I've watched it for years now. And there's this little thing between Matt and Kitty, but then whatever happened to Chester's leg? That's the next thing I got to try to find out.
Yes.
If any you know, what do you call those guys that I dig into those shows, and a researcher or whatever.
Right.
If you find out, let me know
We'll get
what
you
happened to
the
Chester's leg.
I got to ask you, you mentioned a little while ago, you said, I'm good friends with George. George takes a beating here because the team hasn't won.
Yeah.
Does it bother him? Is he truly a guy that's passionate about wanting to win with the Bears? How, is he a misunderstood guy?
Seriously, I think he really wants to win. You know, he's in a position where, you know, he's, you know, it's part of the family, part of the ownership, all that business. And I don't know if the buck stops with him or nothing, but come on, you really think he enjoys losing? I don't think so. And when the Bears came out, when they played in SoFi last year, first game of the year or whatever, yes. I went to the game, and I went up to, you know, my wife wanted to meet with Virginia a little bit, so we went up there, their suite, and all of a sudden they were down. They got within a couple of yard line right off the bat early on in the game, and George is yelling, and then all of a sudden they throw an interception or something, and it just deflates the whole room. So no, they want to win. It's just, you know, they just haven't been fortunate with hiring the right people lately. But I think they got their act right this time.
Best quarterback in Bears history that you remember?
Oh, probably that 1 year with Rudy Bukich. Rudy the Rifle, man. He could throw, and yeah, I think he had one great year there that I thought, you know, Wade I caught at the end of his deal. In my era, you know, there wasn't anybody. Sid Luckman, geez, is that something? You got to go back that far?
70-some years.
Yeah. Well, what am I talking about? I'm pushing 50 years, for crying out loud.
It's crazy.
It is.
What about Cutler or McMahon?
McMahon was all right. Yeah, I think he was all right for what he had. You know, I was doing radio then, that 85 year, everybody was talking about the defense, but you know something? The offense scored too.
They did.
They were pretty good. So, yeah, I totally forgot about him. Cutler, something was wrong there. No.
It was funny. I was watching the 85 highlight video showing one of my younger sons. Hey, you got to see how good this team was. And there's a shot of the night McMahon came off the bench and threw 3 touchdowns against Minnesota in 85.
Yeah.
And there you are standing. OJ is standing right there. You're out there. And I think you did the game that night, right?
Yeah. Because he wasn't, I was in the locker room, you know, and they said he wasn't going to play at all. So I was kind of surprised when he came in, and then he just lit it up.
Lit it up.
He did, yeah. I remember that game.
Would you have liked to play it on that defense?
Oh, yeah. Jesus, I don't think anybody would have never have gotten touched. That line he had there. Oh, man.
So that's my next question. You know, I talked to Ronnie Rivera.
Yeah.
He said I started one game for Singletary. I had 23 tackles. I was never touched. He
exactly.
said Hamp, Perry, McMichael, and Dent. He said I just flowed to wherever the ball was, and there was no one around me.
Exactly. Yeah. And I had it like that for a couple of years there too. Obradovich and Doug Atkins, Earl Leggett. When I first was starting, and we were really playing that 4-3 the way it should have been played with George Allen coaching my rookie year. Yeah, it was. I thought I had it made then. How tough it could be.
Would you be mad if the Bears build in Arlington Heights and move out of Soldier Field, or you think they should?
You know, I mean, business-wise, I guess they should. You know, with gaming now being okay with the league, they're going to make so much extra money now. And,
crazy.
You know, Chicago, a lot of fans won't go, but come on, how long has New York been in New Jersey? Same, I think it's same sort of thing, but it's just economically they have to do that. They got probably one of the worst lease deals of stadium. They're going to build one. The worth, I don't know. I hate to say it, but it'd probably be the best move for them.
Probably right.
Yeah. The way I mean, this sci-fi here, or SoFi out here. I went to one of the games, the Bear game, and that was the last I'd go there. I mean, it was a trek to find where the hell to go, and they had the tickets. You can do it on your phone,
right?
So the sun's out, right, and they're trying to see Matt's phone with the 4 tickets that we got, and we're hovering over the guy, and it was like one of the first games, and I said, go ahead. So he just waved us in, and everywhere we went, nobody knew what the hell or where to go. I mean, it was unbelievable. I swore I'd never go back again. Hopefully they got it all in order, I guess, by now.
So get this, I'm talking to Bobby Hull. He said the Blackhawks would play at 7:30 on Sunday night. He said the Bears would play at noon. So I would go to the games. He said Dick would leave me tickets. I would watch the Bear game, leave, go to the rink, and then Dick would come to the hockey game and we'd go out after it. And he said, when I scored my 51st goal, Dick gave me a game used jersey. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Well, Bobby was, when I first got into hockey, a friend of ours, Jay McGreevy, he had seats right behind the goal. So he brought me to a game, and they're doing that skating around and, shooting, and all of a sudden, bam, because I had my back against the window. And Bobby comes skating by after he fired one, damn near broken, scared the heck out of me. And he comes, with no teeth, smiling as he drives around. Yeah, we used to have fun there.
Yeah, he said you guys used to go out and tear it up in the city. He goes, you have no idea how much fun we had. Him, Dick Butkus, me, Bobby Hull, and us tearing up Chicago.
Yeah, he still is quite the guy. I tell you what, good guy. Yeah, I liked him. I like him.
Were you a baseball fan? Did you go to other events, basketball?
Funny thing is, because we played at, being a South Sider, everybody thought I was a Sox guy. I as a kid, I went to a couple of Sox games, but then, I started following them when we were at Wrigley. We used to go, to the visitors' locker room. Our locker room would be too small for a basketball team. I mean, we were all, so we'd go there, and they had this fence with a lock on the door, and you could see, and they had all this tobacco there, all the beach nut boxes of it, So we kind of bent it open, and so I think it was Doug, myself, maybe Brubacher. When we're having meetings, we had a garbage can, and that's what we're using as a spittoon, and just kept on, how rancid that must have been. I mean, no one emptied it out. Anyway, we used to have fun there. And then, of course, when the visitors played there, they had to walk through down and through the dugout, and then go up the stairs to their locker room. And of course, the Bear fans could go right there and throwing crap at them. It was brutal for them. And they get us back over at Milwaukee. They throw stuff between the fence as you're walking. But that's the pro days. I mean, that's what I thought. Like Wrigley Field, man, we're playing football here, and they got these 2x6s covering the visitors' dugout because that was the corner of the end zone. Actually, it was wood.
Fall in.
Yeah, it was wood painted green. That you thought that was the corner of the end zone. It was 2x6 planks. And then when you go down the other way, you run into the wall, you crack the brick like Bronco Nagurski. But the thing is, on the south end zone, you could put a ball there and just give it a little nudge and it would roll all the way to the left field wall because it was all pitched that way. They didn't do anything, but they, put the stands in. That's all they did for that. And then they painted green. I mean, it was like, what do you call it? It's like with sheep, because of their hooves, if they're in one area, they really compact the ground. And that's what we were doing with our spikes in the old days, because they never did anything. We practiced on it. So in the winter, it was playing like on your driveway. And with the pitch and everything, it was, to me though, that was pro. That was, I'm really in it now. This is because a pro could play under any circumstances,
Correct.
And that's what I got a kick out of doing all that.
All right, last question for you. One player that's playing today that you'd love to play with, and one player playing today, you go, I'd love a shot at going at him.
Probably had like to probably have Brady with me and go against Aaron Rodgers.
You would love to get a shot at sacking him.
Yeah, just for the ownership of the Bears, he claims he has. That's what I can't understand why every damn Bear it doesn't look at that comment he made and just put it in their memory bank. But I don't know if you're allowed to do that.
So if he said that when you were playing, or if you were playing today and he went in the corner at Soldier Field, went, I own you, what would you do?
Well, I wouldn't do it there, but I'd do it during the game. We'll see who owns who. At least I would die trying. Yeah, I probably would. Well, I couldn't do it today. I'd get arrested.
Probably right.
Yeah.
They don't let you hit like you did back then. Dick, thank you for your time. I greatly appreciate it.
You got it, buddy.